I'm legally insane. And here are a bunch of PS1 games. And the second this video ends, I'm going to blow my balls off. Where's my gun? I'm going to blow my balls off. Some of you are going to join me. I know that for a fact some of you are going to join me. Because you're going to be blowing off your balls for the same reason that I'm blowing my balls off. I got all of these games in a lot. I picked them up. They were all bundled together as a lot. I won them in a private auction. And I got them because everyone else is retarded. No one else saw the value in here. And within this lot is one of the rarest games on the entire console. One of the biggest hidden gems on the entire console. Space Griffon VF9. Atlas published title, Panther Software. Tactical RPG. I don't know why they call it a tactical RPG, to be honest. They put that on the cover. That says tactical RPG. Their camera might not pick it up. They were advertising it that this was an RPG. But the reality of the situation is it's more similar to Doom than it is to an action RPG. But it has RPG elements, and for whatever reason they wanted to distinguish themselves from Doom and really hit out that this is an RPG. So they're not advertising this as a first-person shooter. It's not a turn-based RPG. It would be classified as a action RPG because that's what the game company is telling you it is. And you're going to blow your balls off at the same time as me, and we're all going to do it together because even the mech on the cover is blowing his own balls off because the developers knew what they had here. They knew this was going to be a hidden gem. They knew this was going to be a little cult class. I mean, they obviously thought they were hoping for more sales than they got, but they knew they had something unique, something that nobody else had out on the market at the time. This was an early PS1 release, 1995. November of 1995. I got my PlayStation console Christmas of 1995. Pretty sure it was Christmas of 95. And, I got some long box games. I had Warhammer. That was, Warhawk. That was very first PlayStation game that I bought. I think my brother might have bought Twisted Metal as his first game, maybe. I don't remember if that was out at the time. So all in all, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll go through every single game here. I'll go through the entire list. I got 8 games in total. I paid $86 Canadian plus $20 shipping, so that's $106. And to give you Americans the conversion, let me calculate that. So the conversion is $78.05 USD. To give you a little bit of context here, Space Griffon alone trades for $65.38 USD on price charting. Recent sold listings, $89.99. And it doesn't sell very often, but also guess what? There's not very many copies available. There's not very many available. And nobody knows that this game even exists. Look at the CIB sold listings. 1 in August, 1 in June, 1 in May. During the busiest season, the summer. I had a lot of sales in the summer, so seasonality plays a role. And then you had to go all the way back to January. 4 sales this entire year. So far. So what are we going to get? 1 or 2 more? Yeah, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales for all of 2023 CIB. $89.99. And I paid less than that for the entire lot of games here. Space Griffon VF9. Nobody knows about this game. I never heard anybody in their life talk about this game. And I never heard of it either. When I saw this in the auction, I checked it out. I looked at the price charting, obviously, to see if I wanted to bid, see how much each of these games was worth. But I was sold when I looked up gameplay and I realized this was an RPG. So it even says at the back. I know that they advertised it at the back here. Here it is. Travel beneath the lifeless surface of the moon in man-made tunnels that extend to the horizon. Because there's a very detailed storyline in this game that could be on par with any AAA movie had they decided to turn it into a movie. On par with Aliens, and the story is also similar to both Aliens and Resident Evil 1. But it's sci-fi and you're landing on the moon instead of a mansion. Similar story, but I'm not going to give it away. Explore the cavernous moon base in this gripping RPG/action drama and get set for anything. Yes, voice acting, fully voice acted. Everything in here screams 90s. The voice actors sound like they're from the 90s and they do a good job. Some people bash them. I don't know why. And the sound effects and the voice acting scream 90s. It sounds exactly like you would think the 90s would sound like. I am not selling this. CIB of 2, of course, by the way. And just to let you know how you play, I should have mentioned this earlier, but it is a mech game. So you're in a mech, like Mech Warrior, first person view, and you are running around like Doom. And there's maps that you can unlock, and you're just running around the levels, collecting power-ups, collecting weapons, collecting health items, and that's where the RPG elements come in, and the survival horror elements as well, because you have a finite supply of pickups. So you can't just like Resident Evil 1, this is a survival game as well. They should have advertised that a little bit better. You can't just use up all your weapons and health repair items. You need to save them for the boss. A lot of them for the boss. In fact, if you actually use too many of those items and don't save your best weapons and a hell of a lot of health power-ups for the boss, you will not beat the game. Like, you can actually get soft locked in that regard. And by the way, you can also morph your mech into 3 different modes. One is fast, but has weaker weapons, so you can't use all the best weapons in the faster mode. Very maneuverable, but it's also very hard to shoot while maneuvering. No dual shock controllers. When this came out in 1995, there's no twin stick shooter. There's no dual shock. Classic 007 GoldenEye type controls. No twin stick back then, guys. Yeah, so you got your combat mode, high speed assault mode, and high speed cruise mode. You're going to be using the combat mode and the high speed assault mode the most. Assault mode, which is the balanced mode. Oh, check this out. It does tell you battle techniques, so it's giving you tips on how to play the game. Oh, that's incredible. They didn't do that very often back in the day. It's telling you different maneuver styles that you can do. Following are 6 battle techniques and instructions on how to master them. By mastering these techniques, you will become the ultimate Griffon. Attack techniques, quick attack, hit and block. Yeah, you can get a shield so you can block. Footwork attack? What the hell is that? Oh, it's telling you to strafe, I think. Strafe back and, strafe in, shoot and strafe back. You can strafe. Rolling attack? Telling you to do like a roll attack, I guess. Dash attack, hit and away. Sniper shot. Oh yeah, you hiding behind, like that's when you angle your shot. Sniper shot, the bottom there. Yeah, you got to be cheap in this game too. If you actually want to beat the game, you got to be cheap. So here's the thing, guys. This game is rare as hell. Put it on your radar. I picked it up. I didn't know about it. That means you didn't know about it either. Nobody knows about it. Very interesting game. Check out gameplay on YouTube. And I know it has a good story. Now you might be thinking, well, you didn't beat the game. How do you know if it has a good story? Well, to be honest, I cheated. And I regret it. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm an idiot. You know what I did? I'm trying to put it back together, sorry, because the case doesn't stick on. So yeah, there are some cosmetic flaws too. Nothing too serious though. I cheated. When I was looking up the game, if see if I even wanted to buy it, I saw a video on YouTube that said the watch the ending of the game, 15 minutes long, and I watched it. And without even seeing the rest of the story, although I did read up on the rest of the story later, which I also regretted. The ending was incredible. Oh my gosh. Straight out of a movie. Straight out of Aliens. Oh, a little bit predictable, but back in 1995, it would not have been so predictable because I'm not going to give it away. But it was, yeah, when they say that this is an RPG action drama, they're not exaggerating. The story is absolutely incredible. It's very serious. A lot of a lot of twists, a lot of unexpected events are going to happen. Very serious plot. Sad events are going to happen. People are going to die. It's not one of these games where nobody dies. Talking Game of Thrones here. You don't know who's going to go, how they're going to go. You don't know who you can trust. It's like Resident Evil. Can anybody trust? Can anybody trust Wesker? Where's Wesker? Where'd he go? Right? I'm playing Resident Evil 1. I'm picking Jill Valentine. I'm looking for Barry. I don't know if I can trust Barry, although he seems pretty cool. But where the hell is Wesker at? Where's that guy? Right? You don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know who you can trust. You're in this crazy mansion. There's zombies everywhere. Well, there might be some zombies in this game too, buddy. You're going to find people in there. You're going to find people in that moon base. You go in there with a crack team of commandos just like Resident Evil. And you're trying to find out what the hell's going on just like Resident Evil. Pick that one up. I've already spent too much time on that. Next up, we got Descent. Picked up the whole lot, $78 US. Every game in here. CIB. You understand what that means? Like there's a lot of non-collectors out there. They don't really understand what CIB means. I checked out all the discs. They're all in good condition. This was a first-person view drive around in a spaceship. I guess it's kind of like Doom, yet again. But you know what? I don't really care for this game. I had this on PC back in the day. But one interesting thing that I will mention about this game is that it's surprisingly two-player, but you had to use the link cable. And you can play two-player in the campaign. I'm pretty sure that's what it said in the campaign. 1 or 2 player for head-to-head or cooperative play, including 5 new Anarchy levels. And I was thinking, whoa, there's no way the PlayStation 1 could handle 2-player co-op in Descent split-screen campaign. I mean, maybe it could. They would have to dumb it down, but as soon as I saw the System Link, that made sense. I wish I had System Link back in the day. Next up, we got WWF In Your House. This is the sequel to the arcade game, and I've always wanted this game. And the arcade game, which I don't have. I want it on PlayStation, not Super Nintendo. I have the Super Nintendo version, but I've always wanted the PlayStation version. This is the sequel. It's basically Mortal Kombat Wrestling. And some people bash the WWF arcade game, but they're a bunch of idiots because the game is fun as hell. I'd rather play this than Mortal Kombat. This is way funner. The matches are super fast, super fun. It's dumb, stupid fun. Oh, I think it's 4-player as well. Yes, it is 4-player with the 4-player adapter, and you can do 1 versus 1, 1 versus 2, and 1 versus 3, which I assume that also means you can do 2 versus 2 in multiplayer mode. Because in single player, you are going to have to do all 3 of those against a computer. There's special moves in the game, although they're like the finisher moves, but they don't do a particularly ton of damage. You can like do the move over and over again by putting in the right combination. They're a little bit harder to pull off, so it's not something that you would do very often. So they're just kind of there. They're just an extra move that you can do. It's a button masher. You don't really need to necessarily know the moves or do anything super fancy. You can button mash your way through, punch, kick, super punch. There's power ups that you can pick up. There's uh, some items are actually depower you, so you want to avoid them. That was really the only game design flaw, in my opinion. I'm very happy to have this one. I'm gonna sell it to Cent though. I'm gonna try to get some of my money back. I'm keeping WWF. Next up, I also got Battle Arena Toshinden 3. I had this back in the day. I sold it. I've been wanting it back for years now. Although admittedly, so I bought this used at Rogers Video. This game came out in 1997, I want to say. They made a huge mistake. Battle Arena Toshinden 1 and 2 were very, very popular. 10 out of 10 games. Very, very popular. I had the demo. The demo came, Jumping Flash, Battle Arena Toshinden on the same demo came with my PS1 console. I'm fairly certain that's how I got that demo. Came with the console. Played the hell out of that demo. You could only be 2 or 3 characters. I think you could only be 2 characters, and you could fight 1 character. You could fight the old man, which was the computer, and you could be the dude with the sword or the chick with the size. Ellie, I think her name was Ellis. I would always pick her and spam the same move over and over again, and my friend could never beat me. I don't even know why he continued to play the game with me, to be honest, looking back on it. I should not have done that. It was down and circle, and she would lob herself in the air, like with her feet first. She's doing a lob attack. You couldn't, there's nothing you could do about it. I would just spam it 24/7. It had like an auto-targeting homing device. She'd hunt you down, and she'd scream A as she does it. So the whole game would just be A, and I'm just lob shotting. You couldn't do nothing. I'm talking flawless victories. The guy couldn't touch me. We'd play that game for hours. That poor guy. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what he was thinking. I would have refused to play with me. And, maybe there's a counter for that, but we didn't know how to counter it. So, the interesting thing about this game is I played number 1 and number 2, and so I was very excited when I bought this used at Rogers Video. But by the time this game came out, I think it flopped. Not necessarily because it's a bad game. I think it actually, or because they changed so much from number 1 and number 2. I think it's actually because there was just so many other good games out at the time. There was so many other fighters coming out or were already out by 1997 that this franchise died. As a matter of fact, they never made a fourth. This is the game that killed the franchise. And it's not that it was a bad franchise. I think it was just there were so many other better games out there. There's X-Men Children of the Atom, Marvel vs. Capcom. There's Bloody Roar. Like, I don't know when those games came out, but they were probably out by the time this thing came out. Mortal Kombat. They're making more Mortal Kombat games. There's just so many options that nobody was talking about this anymore. And probably it was only popular because it was one of the first, if not the first, 3D fighter. Number 1. And once everyone was a 3D fighter, wasn't the new cool thing anymore. They couldn't keep up. Also got Loaded. This is one of the best 2-player co-op games on the PS1. It's a run and gun, kind of like a top-down view. Cosmetically flawed, as you can see, it's missing the cover of the manual, which is the cover of the game, and I think the back cover of the manual as well. 2-player co-op. You can pick from all these different characters, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Interesting thing about this game, I think this was also an early release with the PS1. They made a sequel called Reloaded. But what's interesting about this game is they really advertised that it was very bloody. In fact, they'll probably say something at the back. Possibly the bloodiest title of the year. And it was. That was like the gimmick of the game. That helped to drive sales because that was kind of new. You got to remember, this is mid-90s, right? getting these overly bloody and overly gory games, and getting games with uh full FMV movie clips from DVDs and stuff inside your games. Like after you beat this game, you can unlock videos and watch your favorite wrestlers. That was new back then. And so this game being bloody as hell helped it gain popularity, because it's not really a 10 out of 10 game or anything like that, but it was well made, and it was one of the first mature, extremely bloody games. Lots of power-ups in this game, and a pretty good soundtrack as well. So that was a really cool one. I'm selling that because I already own it, actually. That's in the sell pile. I thought about selling this, but because I used to own it and I have some nostalgia for it, I decided I'm going to keep it. Next up, I also got Machine Head. The guy had a $15 sticker on it, so I believe that's actually roughly what it is worth. He was obviously trying to sell it. I'm not a big fan of this one. I looked this one up. I don't know much about it. Oh, cosmetically flawed again. It's missing the back of the cover. That will affect the price a little bit. But you're kind of driving around in this tank-looking vehicle. I guess it's the vehicle on the front cover. And you're blowing stuff up. Core Design game, though. They made a couple of really good games. Core Designs. If anyone's a Core Designs fan, look them up. Core Design. I got one of their Sega CD games that I really liked. Oh yeah, this one. I would have been super excited for this. Bubsy 3D. This is one of the... Okay, people say that this is one of the worst games ever made. But have you actually played it? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not lying. I'm not... this is not a joke. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I think it's a good game. I think it's really good. Okay, guys, I'm doing an edit here. I played Bubsy 3D for 30 minutes, and I have drastically changed my mind. It is one of the worst games ever made, if not the worst game I've ever played. It is that bad. But I'll just throw out one caveat though. Even that said though, there's still some fun to be had. I think the best way to play this game is to play it with a friend and take turns. It's one of those so bad it's good games. It's funny and pure torture. So just I had to throw in this edit because it made it sound like I thought this was a really, really good game. As long as you go into it not expecting a Sonic 2, right, or Super Mario 64. Oh yeah, and funny enough, they were trying to ride the coattails of Mario 64. It says right at the back. Underwater-based levels remain reminiscent of Mario 64. Oh, that's from PlayStation Extreme Magazine. Oh, they're quoting what the developers said. Hold on, or the PlayStation magazines. Establishing a new standard in the platform genre from next generation. They would have paid them to... Bubsy probably paid these guys, by the way, to say that. Massive environment, go anywhere gameplay, and amazing depth give Bubsy an entirely new perspective. Diehard game fan. Probably paid those guys to say that as well. But okay, here's the unique thing that I didn't know though. It has a 2-player mode, because I never heard anybody mention that. It has a 2-player mode, and it talks about it in the manual. Where is it? Talks about it in the manual. It's really funny. It's really funny what they do here. Deathmatch. So 2 players called deathmatch. Deathmatch. Warning. The 2-player game requires 2 players. So you're probably going to have to stop playing video games for a little while so you can go out and make some friends. Well, they got that one right. When you get a few, come on back and we'll pick up where we left off. Well, they got that one right too, because anybody that actually bought Bubsy 3D back in the day I guarantee they don't have any friends. I guarantee that. Oh, okay. So once you've done that, you come back. It says, "Oh, good, you're back." Well, now that we have all the required components necessary for a two-player game, you do have two controllers plugged into the PlayStation, right? Hopefully you do, because now that you have a friend, you got hopefully your mother bought you a controller too. We can commence with the festivities. Okay, first of all, this is pretty complicated. So to help explain the procedure, we're going to use some people that don't exist to make a few points. Those people are Bob and Fiji Zobo. They were trying to be funny by coming up with, instead of two simple names, Bob and Bill, they come up with a funny, ridiculous second name. Bob is player 1, Fiji Zobo is player 2. Bob, I'll give you the gist of it. Bob runs around as Bubsy trying to collect all the power-ups. Well, Fiji Zobo is trying to shoot you with a gun. And you don't have unlimited bullets. The bullets refresh after a couple of things that can happen. Either 10 seconds passes or a couple other events take place. And you're trying to shoot Bubsy, and he's trying to dodge you while collecting items for points. Because if Fiji Zobo shoots you, Bob, then Bob gets to become Bubsy, and now he's running around Fiji Zobo gets to become Bubsy, and Bob is now in control of the gun, trying to shoot Fiji Zobo, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. So it's pretty cool. You gotta remember this came out in the 90s, mid-90s. So that's a pretty cool one, although I'm gonna sell that only because Limited Run is coming out with the Bubsy collection, and I'm pretty sure it has that on it. Pretty sure it does. Last up, we got Gunship from Microprose, which I think is probably a PC game port. One interesting note is it looks like it's 2 discs, but it's not. And some game publishers did that back in the day as a marketing tactic, because you would think that you're getting more bang for your buck, even though you would either think that it's 2 CDs when it's not, and therefore you'd think it was a bigger, more elaborate game, or you just, it's to trick the buyers into just thinking, oh wow, this must be just a really large, expensive game with a lot of effort put in. Oh, once again, I think that might be a cosmetic flaw. It might be missing the cover on the manual. Yeah, it is, because I'm pretty sure the back is also missing. So some of the games are not fully CIB. It looks similar to a Sega CD game that I have. I don't think I want to keep it, to be honest. I'm just going to sell it. I'm trying to recoup some of my money so that I can keep Battle Arena. Hopefully, if I can get $100 for the rest of these other games all together is a lot, then I get all these games for free. Battle Arena, Space Griffon, and WWF. So that's 3 games. Got Machine Head, Loaded, Descent, Bubsy 3D, and this other game. So I'll see how much I can get for those. I mean, if I really want to, I could sell Battle Arena, and then for sure I know I would get my money back. Bubsy's worth like 30 bucks Canadian at least. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 video games. Don't forget, check out the Patreon. I post exclusive content. Support the channel. And I'm telling you right now, when that Bubsy collection comes out, give Bubsy 3D a try. Yes, it's bad, but they tried to take various elements from various games, including Sonic, with the bonus stages. There are bonus stages. You probably just didn't get enough of the point things, little hairballs or whatever that you gotta collect to unlock the bonus stage. Just like Sonic, you gotta have a certain amount of rings. I think it's a good game. It's like so bad it's good when I say that. I should have specified that.